guests, and our viewing public and the media. Council, does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or a conflict of interest? Seeing none, if one does arise during the meeting, you may declare it then. With our agenda this evening, the first item, we do not have any additions or deletions, so we'll move on to our health and safety message, which is brought to us by Deputy Mayor Hicks. Selwyn, please.
Thank you, Worship. The message this week is going to be tips to kick the winter blues, which I think is very appropriate for the time. Research in Ontario suggests that 15% of the general population have experienced the winter blues, which can include changes in appetite and lethargy. Here are a few tips to help you kick the winter blues. First, enjoy time spent doing your favorite outdoor activity. Spend more time outdoor during the day and arrange indoor environments to receive maximum sunlight. Number two, try something new. While we continue to participate in physical distancing, it is important to stay mentally, it is important to stay mentally healthy while doing so. Starting a blog, learning a new skill or a language is particularly good, or listening to a new podcast are some of the ways to stay mentally healthy while physically distancing, Number three, take a walk. Exercise relieves stress, builds energy, and increases mental and physical well-being. Make a habit of taking a daily noon-hour walk, for example. The activity and increased exposure to natural light can raise your spirits. Number four, make a colorful meal. I love that. Healthy eating has been shown to benefit mental as well as physical health. And be sure to incorporate fruits and vegetables in daily eating habits. And for me, it's set aside a lot of time because it takes me a long time to eat a meal. And lastly, reach out for help. It's okay to ask for help if you're experiencing difficulty.
Very good, thank you. And just before we start with delegations, I'm going to ask our clerk to do the roll call, please. Brian?
Certainly. So Mayor Sue Patterson.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Hicks.
Here.
Councillor Dickard.
Here.
Councillor Fitzsimmons.
Here.
Councillor Fleet.
Here.
Councillor Hawking.
Present.
Councillor Cable.
Present.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a delegation this evening. We have JD Lyons. He is presenting the budget for the downtown improvement area for this year, 2021. Welcome, JD.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson and councillors. The DI Board of Management has asked me to review the 2021 DI budget with you and answer any questions that you may have after I've done so. The board this year was unanimous in, given the financial stress that is upon many of our businesses, that there would be no tax increase in our tax rate. So our budget will remain as it was last year. We will raise approximately $47,000, and with adjustments for vacancy rebates, interest income, and the town's contribution towards flowers of $6,000, our net revenue will be around $52,750. From that is the notable expenses are promotion, advertising at $17,150. A large part of this is made up of the seasonal promotions, including the Christmas one, which is quite substantial, this amounting to some $12,000. In addition to this here, we have the Canada Day, summer radio, banner installation and removal, as well as Christmas decorations that we share with the three partners, the town and the Chamber of Commerce, make up the promotional budget of $17,150. This is up somewhat from previous years as a result of the Community Improvement Partnership being disbanded. We have flower box maintenance of $17,200. Downtown revitalization of $6,000. A little bit different this year. The DI revitalization is going to have a facade grant. This will be in addition to the Community Improvement Plan grant. It will be a percentage of the project up to a maximum amount, the details of which the DIA will be applicable to DI property owners and businesses. And this is currently being finalized as to how it will, the fine line and how it will work. But it'll be something different that will benefit our members in the downtown in addition to what the town and I believe Grey County was a part of. The Christmas light budget also includes refurbishing the Christmas decorations, which started last year. The Christmas decoration annual cost of installation and maintenance is shared equally between the Chamber of Commerce, the DIA, and the town of Hanover. Something of interest, the energy cost savings for the 2021 season will be approximately 40% less than it was as a result of replacing the bulbs with lower wattage and yet brighter light, which is sort of evident if you look at the Christmas wreaths this year. They have a much brighter, whiter light, which looks quite nice, I think. The DI, where beneficial, will continue to work with the Chamber of Commerce as well as the town of Hanover, as we have done in the past number of years. I would be pleased to answer any questions if there's more detail you would like to have about what we're doing, but that is basically the main parts of the budget. There are other smaller ones like office expense, which is rather consistent with other years.
Okay, thank you, JD. Any questions or comments? Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you, JD, for your presentation. Just looking at 2020, so it looks like the expenses were about $22,000 less than the revenue. So does that $22,000 move into a reserve for the DIA?
Councillor Cable, I believe that maybe the figures that you're using are from when we designed the budget in the first place. They aren't the current figures for December 31st in our year end.
I see.
I think the comparison figures were back in November, and there's a significant amount. As the year end for the 2020 ended up, we had a reserve of about additional reserve of about $6,000 going into reserve.
Okay.
So you might say that we were $6,000 under budget for the 2020 year when all was said and done.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for JD? Deputy Mayor Hicks.
Thank you, Worship. You mentioned a facade program. I'm really interested in that. And have you made the decision yet? Maybe you haven't. Whether people can participate in the DIA's facade program as well as the towns?
Well, my understanding of, and this is strictly in the early stages of what we're looking at, is that it would be an addition to the towns. So there was the town facade, which I believe was called the community plan, improvement plan, based on what I'm hearing from economic development. And this was and so ours would be in addition to that, which would benefit the members of the DIA area.
Okay, so maybe I'm confusing things a little bit, Your Worship. The town has always had a facade improvement budget, and people could apply to that. Is this just a continuation of that?
Maybe I can clarify that a little bit. I can see Brian there. He's likely going to do that for me. This year, it's a bit different than there. It's doing the whole town. Before, the facade program only did the downtown core, the downtown DIA area. This year, it's doing the whole town. So we want to give our members a bit more incentive to work and improve the facades in the DIA area.
Okay. Brian?
Okay. So
Yeah, Your
go ahead.
Worship, I'm sorry, JD is correct. Because since council adopted the community improvement plan, that money that was previously allocated into the facade incentive program is now part of the community improvement plan. So all applications for facade would come through the community improvement plan. And JD, as JD indicated, the DIA is going to contribute another $6,000 to that for DIA related facade incentive program applications.
That's correct.
Deputy Mayor Hicks, anything, a follow-up?
So just to clarify, it will still be one application, but there's a $6,000 contribution, I guess, to the CIP pot from the DIA.
That's my understanding, except that, Your Worship, the DIA's contribution will be specific to downtown facades. Is that correct, JD?
That's correct. It will be in addition to, we will piggyback on your program. Simply that if it's a DI member, they will then be able to avail themselves of the additional contribution that the DIA will be putting into the program.
So, Your Worship, just to clarify again, as council will recall, when it approved the community improvement plan and the community improvement area is now the entire municipality. So everything within the boundaries. Previously, we were just targeting the downtown area.
Okay, so it goes back to my original question, Your Worship. So could someone potentially then apply and access both sets of funds? In other words, I'm from the town of Hanover, but I specifically have a business in the downtown area, and I have a project and I would like it to get funding from both pots.
That is exactly the way it's supposed to, that we are hoping that will work. Ours would be an addition to what's already going to be available, but an addition to only to our members, to give them that much more incentive to make some improvements in the downtown where we can help out.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Okay. JD, can you just share where does the downtown, the DIA start and end? The businesses.
We start at the corner up by my office here at the Max of the convenience store. And
right.
We go to BDO Dunwoody and 1 block off Main Street.
Okay.
In that same given area.
Right, good. Okay, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I just want to say thank you very much for everything the DIA does. The downtown always looks great. The flowers are always beautiful. And the Christmas decorations and the flower boxes. It's always nice to see Main Street decorated. So thank you very much.
We do try, Mayor Patterson. One other note, if I may.
Yes.
The board would like to share how pleased they are with the way the Board of Works is maintaining the downtown this winter.
Mm-hmm.
Exceptional job. Much
Good.
appreciated.
Ron can take that back to the Public Works.
Yes, please do.
Yes, okay, so thanks very much, JD.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, item 6 is staff reports, and the first one, 6.1, is report CAO 02-21. The subject is the Hanover Newstead Snowmobile Club Trail request. It's from Brian Teixeira, our CAO clerk, and I need a mover and seconder to put that on the floor. Councillor Cable and Councillor Fitzsimmons. Brian, please.
Thank you, Worship. So in January this year, as in last year, we were approached by the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, District 9, to assist in establishing a designated snowmobile route across municipal lands on behalf of the Hanover Newstead Snowmobile Club. And the purpose of the request is to permit snowmobiles and their riders safe and direct access to fuel. So our bylaw number 241603, which is our snowmobile bylaw, regulates the operation of snowmobiles within the municipality. And specifically sections 2 of the bylaw states that where the operation of a motorized snowmobile is permitted, no person shall operate or drive a motorized snowmobile within the limits of the corporation other than for the purpose of entering, leaving, or crossing said town in as direct a route as possible, or on a clearly designated trail approved by the Corporation of the Town of Hanover. And then there's other rules such as time of operation, can't be on a roadway or a sidewalk, etc. So the lands to which access is being requested is described as part lot 1 concession 2 SDR. Now the Town of Hanover, and is shown in the attached map. Note that this portion of the trail ends at the property line of Rivera's proposed long-term care facility. The club's currently in discussions with Rivera with respect to access to their lands, and as of this afternoon, discussions are ongoing, but they are at least talking. There's an agreement going back and forth, and hopefully that can be resolved really soon. So in light of Rivera possibly beginning construction this year, as well as a few other currently designated routes within the town that no longer will be required, administration is recommending that we hold off on passing or amending the bylaw and instead granting temporary access as requested for the remainder of this season. And this will allow us time to consider a more permanent solution with the club while cleaning up some of the legacy trails in town. So attached to this report is a memorandum of understanding of which the town and club would be required to enter into, as well as the OFSC provides $15 million in liability insurance, of which the town would be named as named as an additional insured. And there's other materials here that's attached for council's information. The club would be responsible for all costs associated with establishing and maintaining the trails. So the recommendation is that report CAO 0221 Hanover Newstead Snowmobile Club Trail request be received by council, and that council agree entering into a memorandum of understanding with the Hanover Newstead Snowmobile Club to legally enter, establish, groom, maintain, sign, and use a portion of the requested trail for the exclusive use of allowing legally permitted snowmobiles and their riders to use these lands for the remainder of the 2021 snowmobile season. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Questions or comments? It's got to be some. I have to ask Brian, the trail that's going through the Horizon property, that's got to
Yes.
be already managed, looked after. They have an agreement with Horizon.
My understanding is that an agreement has been reached with Horizon. Yes.
Okay, good. Councillor Cable?
Thank you, Your Worship. Brian, it talks about how our bylaw has this limitation around snowmobiles between the hours of midnight and 8 a.m. Do we put a sign to that extent anywhere as we approach, like as snowmobiles approach the municipality, as they approach the boundary? Do we have a sign stating anything about this time limit, or is it kind of general knowledge?
No, Your Worship, it's a good question. We don't post signage to that effect. It is enforced, however, by Hanover Police Service as well as our municipal law enforcement officer, if need be. And again, it's one of those things that could be complaint driven.
Okay. A follow-up, Councillor Cable, or that's good? Okay. Councillor Dickert.
Yes, just wanted to mention there are actually signs posted in the industrial park area that do specify the hours of operation that are allowed. Midnight till 8 a.m. there are no machines allowed. So if you come up 11th Ave and you come to the T intersection there, you'll see one posted there, and you'll see one down at the industrial park where you turn into the industrial park. Those hours of operation are posted there.
Okay.
Thank you. I did not know that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor of report CAO 02-21? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, item 6.2, this is report DCS 03-21. It is the provincial gas tax allocation for public transit from Chris Walker, our Director of Corporate Services and our Treasurer. And I need a mover and seconder to put that on the floor. So I have Councillor Dickert and Councillor Fleet. Chris, all yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. As council is aware, we have the Soggy Mobility and Regional Transit Corporation, otherwise known as SMART, that the town of Hanover is the host municipality for the 9 communities that we service. On January 14th, Mayor Patterson received a letter from the Ministry of Transportation, MTO, advising that the gas tax for the SMART Transit would be coming due. And it's from fiscal period April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. Our allocation is $740,828. It's about $30,288 more than last year. And in order for SMART to receive this gas tax funding, the town of Hanover must sign a letter of agreement and pass a bylaw, agreeing to be the host municipality and accept the funds on their behalf. So the current agreements that we have between all the 9 municipalities are sufficient for this program. So a bylaw and an agreement will be going forward to council's meeting on February 16th when the bylaw can be passed. As we know, SMART is funded through mostly the gas tax, municipal contributions, and user fees. And it's anticipated that once this has been completed, we should be able to receive some of the money by early April 2021, about a whole year behind from what the actual agreement is for. And they're able to use this, they being SMART, is able to utilize these gas tax funds for all of their capital and any operations requirements. The town of Hanover is currently the largest municipal contributor for SMART. And in 2021, it's gone down from the around 140,000 that we spent last year down to 114,083 in 2021. And that represents about 17.55% of the SMART. We've gone from about 27% at one time down to 17. So the other municipalities are actually getting larger rides than they have in the past. So this report is being presented to council to be received, and that the mayor and CAO clerk be authorized to complete the letter of agreement with the Ministry of Transportation as the host municipality of SMART for this provincial gas tax allocation as detailed in this report. That council approve a bylaw at the future council meeting to enter into this letter of agreement with the Ministry of Transportation. As noted, it will be presented at the upcoming council meeting on February 16th. And then once that is done, they want a report done prior to the end of February with all that information as well from the previous agreement. And it's hopeful once this agreement goes through, we should be able to get about 555,000 of that money up front within 2 to 3 weeks of completing everything.
Okay.
A formality that we do every year on their behalf.
Right. Okay, any questions for Chris about this? As we are the agent, I guess you call it, the host municipality. So, okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 6.3 is report PW 01-21. The subject is the 2020 annual water quality report. It's from Ron Cooper, our Director of Public Works, and I need a mover and seconder to put that on the floor. Councillor Hawking and Councillor Fitzsimmons. Ron, all yours.
Thank you, Worship. Before I start on the report, I just would like to introduce our new chief operator at the wastewater treatment plant. Ted Knapp is here with us tonight, and just want to welcome him and introduce him to council there. So he's been quite busy. He started at in January 4th and getting introduced to the operations at both water and wastewater. So just thought I would take this moment to introduce him to council and the public.
Thanks, Ron. Welcome, Ted. Glad you're on board with the team. So, all right, Ron, all yours.
Okay, thank you. The report before you is on an annual basis. It's our annual water quality report. It is from the year 2020. The requirement is that under Section 11 of the Ontario Drinking Water System Regulation requires this report to be prepared by February 28th of the following year and made available to public. As per the annual reports regulation, for us being a large municipal residential system, there is a number of elements that the report needs to contain, which I will go through them and show them where they are. We're following actually a template that has been provided by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks in preparing this report. One of the items that we have to provide is a brief description of our drinking water system and a list of the water chemicals used. That's shown on page two of the template, and the chemicals that we're using in our treatment. We're using a chemical called PAX XL52, which is used to in coagulation to assist in the filtration. We're using chlorine gas for disinfection, and we use another chemical, hydrogen peroxide, for seasonal taste and odor. The next item that we need to provide is a summary of any reports made to the Ministry, Conservation and Parks. And I can indicate to that there was no required reporting to them because we've had no corrective actions to follow up for the year 2020, which is excellent results. The next item that we have to provide to you was a summary of our test results, which they are shown in the report on pages 3 to 6. And what we had to do is we summarized the minimum and maximum values of the test results which were completed in 2020. One of the ones that I would go to would be on page 4 of the template of interest, would be when we're, it's a test for microcystin, which is the presence of blue-green algae, and that is into place on a weekly basis from June till the end of October. And our test results of that have all indicated that we're below the minimum detectable limit for the presence of blue-green algae. Another item which we have to report on would be a description of major expenses to install, repair, and replace equipment. That is shown on the bottom of pages 2 of the template, and on pages 3, just kind of in summary, UV system is something which we have talked to before in reports. We spent about $50,000 on our UV system this year. We did an upgrade to the air exchanger system. That was $29,000, approximately, at the water treatment plant. Backwash pumps, 2 of those were replaced out. That was $30,000. A well number 1, we had a motor replacement there at approximately $16,000, and we replaced 1 of 2 high lift pumps at $13,000. They were our major expenses in terms of equipment repair and replacement for the year 2020. The next requirement is to advise where the report is available for public viewing. And to that end, it's going to be posted on the town's website under the Public Works section. It also available at the public information document at the municipal office. And advisement of this will be sent out with our next water billing, so all public is made aware. Financial implications of this report, there is none, and our link to strategic plan would be continue with sustainable municipal operations. So the recommendation is the report PW01-21, the 2020 annual water quality report be received, and the council acknowledge receipt of the 2020 annual quality report as per section 11 of Ontario Regulation 17003, and the report being made available at the public office and posted on the town's website. So all in all, a very good report to be able to provide in terms of water quality and test results for the year 2020. If council would have any questions.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Councillor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Ron. It is great to see a clean bill of health like that for our water system. I do notice we do still test for lead. Is there any portion of our system still based on a lead distribution system?
I would say in terms of mains and stuff like that is no, but what I can tell you is when we did a reconstruction of the 8th Street and 14th Avenue reconstruction this year, we found 1 lead service line that was replaced on the town property, and the homeowner actually replaced that section on their private property side too. So as we find some and identify them in older sections of town, they are replaced. In terms of our overall sampling of lead, we do that every 3 years. The last time was in 2019, and we've got favorable results coming back in our testing.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Your Worship. Ron, I was just wondering, the security and the safety of Rural Lake, there's been no issues out there and everything's been in good standings, and we've had no issues with the safety of the lake?
No, there has not, but, and actually in 2020, I would say some of the variances in the test results that we have got were actually less than what they have been previous, but a lot of that indicates on weather and climate conditions throughout the year, but continuing, no concerns.
All right, thanks, Don. Ron?
Any other questions or comments? With this report, I really like that it describes our drinking water system in a very brief paragraph, which is nice. And I also like that it lists all the expenses. That gives you a really nice recap of that. But Ted, I want to ask you, have you had an opportunity to see, I'm sure you've been out to Rural Lake. Have you seen the other wells, well 1 and 2, gone out around, or has there been too much snow out there?
I have visited Rural Lake and both the wells, and yes, I've got to tour all the different sites, and we do keep the snow blown away from the wells and stuff, so we can get access to them and everything. So,
okay, all right, that's good. Glad to hear that. All right, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question on report PW 01-21. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. So item 7 is reports and correspondence for information. So we have 7.1. This is PRC 01-21. The subject is Family Day 2021. There's no place like home. That's hard to say, Sherry. It's from Sherry Walden, our Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture. And as this is for information, we do not need a mover and seconder. So Sherry, all yours, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. And as much as the report has my name on it, the kudos for this really needs to go to our staff at Parks, Recreation and Culture, Laura specifically, but it is a bit of a team effort, as well as April in Economic Development. So we've really had to pull this together since we were provided with the emergency order on January 12th. So this really has come together in 2 weeks. We had a plan in place that was moving forward, and we quickly had to pivot. So as Mayor Sue said, there's no place like home, and we so look forward to our residents enjoying a family day. As you know, we've celebrated Family Day since its inception with a wonderful event at the P&H Center. And this year it's going to be a little bit different. We want people to still have a great family activity and physical activity and some fun, but you will be doing so at home given our current state that we're in. So tonight I'm going to share a few more details because this will all be out on social media tomorrow and released in some other promotional aspects as we were finalizing some of the details even as this report was being written last week. The first is that the ice sculpture selfies, those will happen in Heritage Square. They will arrive on Friday, February 12th and be there as long as the weather cooperates. They'll be there for quite some time. So if people recall, in 2010, we had an ice sculpture city in Heritage Square. It was very unique. It was really interesting. And there's a couple of ice sculptures that are going to allow people to come with their families, take some selfies, again, mind our public health directives that we have in place to watch your distance, if you know, not to crowd and gather and all of those types of things. So that will be occurring in the Heritage Square. Watch for their arrival. The second is the snow sculpture contest. And I'm really, really excited about this. Personally, I really want to say, and I challenge the management team, you're really never too old to build a snow sculpture. I was experimenting on the weekend. I'm not going to promise any works of art, but anybody can do it. So I encourage council to do the same. So the snow sculpture, you're to use your imagination and consider creating your favorite character, animal, or winter scene. There are chamber buck prizes, so we'll support our local businesses. And there's an added prize. If your sculpture pays tribute to your favorite local business, such as wearing clothes or sporting equipment from a local retailer, or eating a signature dish from the local restaurants, there's a chance to win an additional prize. So can you just imagine what we're going to see around town? Our residents will get engaged in choosing who wins. So the photos, there'll have to be 2 photos of your snow sculpture submitted, and all those details will be released tomorrow. And then via the town Facebook, residents will get to vote for who they think should get the snow sculpture trophy for Hanover. Now, if you think, oh, I can't build a snow sculpture, it's too complicated, I'm here to tell you it's not. There's a gentleman in Waterloo. His name is Matt Morris. There was an article in the newspaper. There was a CTV News article on him last week. He has an actual website, and that's what I use to create my block of snow that I'm going to create my snow sculpture. And he's got a snow sculpting club specifically for the pandemic. It's for amateurs. His website is called snowbankproductions.weebly.com. If you Google Matt Morris Waterloo snow sculptures, you'll get to his website. It gives you lots of tips on how to create a snow sculpture. And again, you do not need to be a pro at this. It's very simple. You need a bucket and warm clothes. So council, I will be driving by your houses to see what kind of creations I see on your front lawn. And then lastly is our virtual and our pre-recorded. So this is hot off the press. I have the details to share with council this evening. And again, this will be out on town social media in the coming days. But our virtual and pre-recorded sessions, you will need to register for this. And it's going to be a limited registration because of the Zoom capacity. Some of them are via Zoom. So we encourage our residents to watch for those details. You will need to pre-register to then get your family supply bag at home kit with all the supplies that you need for this. And it's going to include this. There'll be a family yoga with Espy from the Yoga Barn for a gentle yoga class. There's going to be family bingo. Councillor Fitzsimmons is going to wear his Hanover Raceway hat and be the bingo caller and help with the family bingo. And there will be prizes. There's going to be trivia, family trivia. Jen, our town crier, is going to host a trivia from the comfort of your couch. There's going to be a Camp K craft with a throwback Camp K camp leader who happens to sit around this council table. Councillor Cable will lead a pre-recorded craft. And again, all the supplies will be in your kit. Schultz's, there will be do-it-yourself cookie decorating. And I understand Mayor Sue's going to lead us in that activity. There's going to be how to make balloon animals. And that's going to be hosted by Christina Snell, who's working her way towards being one of our fire people. There's going to be an art project. There's going to be children's story time with Hanover Public Library. So as you can see, Family Day is going to be very unique, very exciting, and a great way to celebrate with your family at home while being COVID friendly throughout all of this. And that's what we really need to remember, is that we have to follow our COVID protocols, all the things we've been hearing all along. So watch for those pre-registration details. They'll be out very soon. Hanover residents will have a first opportunity to register, and then it will be open to all others. And again, you will then get a supply bag that you will pick up at certain times at the P&H Center. And we really could not make this possible without our sponsors, both in kind and financial. We have our 2 title sponsors, Edgewell and Bruce Power. And then we have our other sponsors, Norm's Restaurant, Hanover Bentic and Brant Agricultural Society, and Hanover Raceway, as well as Schultz's Bakery. So thank you to those community partners. And we really look forward to our residents having a great family day at home with some fun activities, some unique activities. And again, I encourage everyone to take part. It's a great chance to be physically active, do something different, try something different, and have fun. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Sherry. So my question, the snow sculpture, you don't need a kit bag or anything for that?
No, you really, honestly, I use 2 sand pails and the 5-liter gallon pail from FS. So you're really just recycling bins. I saw an article on the news just this weekend of a gentleman, I think he was in Gravenhurst. He created their boat that's in their harbor. He used recycling bins. And honestly, you go on that website, it's all about putting some snow in the pail, packing it down, filling it up some more, packing it down, fill it up some more, pack it till it's full, flip it over and let it sinter. That was a new word for me, but it needs to sinter and stay in the pail for about 2 to 3 hours. You give it a quick tap, twist, lift it up, you got your snow. And again, I've stacked a couple of those on top of each other. Again, I'm no expert by any means, but it was kind of fun. My dog had fun with me. And the other key thing I learned, I always thought, oh, you need packing snow to make a good snow sculpture. No, this gentleman says that the fluffy snow even makes better snow sculptures because of the sintering process. So look that up.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So any questions, comments? Well, that's good. I hope you get lots of people signing up and taking part, because it sure sounds like fun.
Agreed.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.2, this is Saugeen Mobility and Regional Transit, otherwise known as SMART, the board meeting minutes from October 23rd. Councillor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship. Seems like a long time ago, but anyway, we'll try and do some highlights. Much of that meeting was spent on discussions regarding our service level review and hours of operation. Our goal was to continue to offer high quality service to our clients while trying to manage our operational deficits. Adjustments will be made to destinations as well as hours and days of operation in order to be able to continue to offer this vital service to our clients. Exceptions to the changes are in place so that we continue to offer transportation to clients who need dialysis and things like that that fall outside of those parameters of the new operating guidelines. We also initiated a fleet utilization study to further explore possible operational efficiencies. SMART currently has 32 vehicles. It's a lot bigger operation. A lot of us think of it as, like I said, 32 vehicles is a pretty good sized fleet. And we're just wanting to look at that and make sure we're utilizing the fleet to its fullest potential. We completed an initial review of the 2021 budget and gave direction to staff on overall budget targets and timelines for completion. And we reviewed the third quarter ridership statistics and COVID impacts. Fortunately, we had no COVID-related illnesses in any staff. COVID has created a significant reduction in ridership, and as a result, it ended up in a 56% overall reduction in ridership for the 3 quarters of the year. Hanover was actually down 59% with 2,408 rides in 2020 versus 5,936 rides for the same period in 2019. That's my report. If I have any questions, I'll certainly try and answer them.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Councillor Dickert? I must say it must be very difficult trying to find that right balance for the fares and costs so that, you know, the municipalities are still on board and not giving notice that they're leaving. That's what must be over, you know, continuous thinking about that. But I'm thinking of the clients and trying to, you know, use the service. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, 7.3, the Hanover Downtown Improvement Area meeting minutes. Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Your Worship. DIA met on Thursday, November 19th. That seems like a while ago too. Some of the highlights from that meeting, we discussed the community improvement plan, and the DIA consensus remains to disband from SIP, which we all realize. The DIA board thanked Peggy Sickle for her 17 years of service on the board. Thank you, Peggy. Other items discussed was the holiday shop and win, bingo and jingle in downtown Hanover, Shoppers Night 2020. Courtney Hopkins, new owner of Temptations, will be joining the committee in the new year. The DIA is also looking for one more committee member. So if anybody knows anyone out there that would like to join the DIA board, they'd be welcome to join. And that's all I've got to report from the DIA, Your Worship. I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Fleet? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Item 7.4. This is the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission meeting minutes from January 13th. Councillor Hawking.
Thank you, Worship. The minutes have been circulated, and I'm just going to summarize them for you. I would say meeting was broken down into 4 specific areas. Housekeeping matters, which is part of every meeting. We took a look at ways in which we can meet our budget needs. A bit of information on the snowbirds coming June the 22nd. And a thing we're going to do this year is we're going to review the municipal agreement that makes up the Soggy Municipal Airport. As you know, it's a shared agreement between Brockton, Town of Hanover, and the municipality of West Grey. That's it, Your Worship. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Councillor Hawking, I just want to ask, with the snowbirds, what's the thoughts with COVID and the health protocols?
That's an excellent question, Your Worship. We're just starting to form the committee level, and I'm sure there's going to be a subcommittee that deals specifically with that and maintain a strong communication links with Dr. Era and his staff. But I noticed last week that Brantford Air Show has been canceled this year due to concerns of COVID. So, and I guess mainly because they have to book so far in advance. But we're hopeful we'll be able to pull it off. But that's a definite concern that we, in constant communication with our medical officer of health.
Because there was how many thousands of people there the last time, and if you put all of thwe people in one area, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, that's why we took over some what we refer to as vacant land, and we started planting hay on it, which allows for parking. So we've got more increased parking at the airport now for such an event than was the last time they did it, and that was sort of the incentive behind it. But yeah, there's going to definitely be a protocol. I don't know what it is yet, but we definitely will be in constant communication with them. It has to be done properly.
Right. Okay, very good. Item 7.5. This is a motion from the municipality of Charlton and Dac, which is between North Bay and Timmins. I had to look it up because I'd never heard of it before. I'm sure Brian has. And it's regarding insurance, municipal insurance. They're sending a resolution to the province stating that its cost has continued to increase, especially recently going into 2021, which we know about. And these increases are unsustainable. So that is just for information, unless you want to discuss it, talk about it, and review those recommendations. Any thoughts? We do know insurance is high. I'm not seeing any, so Councillor Fitzsimmons.
Your Worship, I think they make a lot of valid points, and in addressing some of these recommendations, I think we should support this. Actually, we know it has a huge impact on us, and I don't know if it'll fall on deaf ears, but I'd like to support this.
Okay, you'd like to make a motion to do that?
I will.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Dickert. Any further? Did you want to add anything to it? Brian, did you want to make a comment about this? Are we going about it in the right way?
Yeah, Your Worship, I think there are some, as Councillor Fitzsimmons has said, I think there's some really legitimate points that this municipality has raised with respect to insurance. I mean, we've seen firsthand the impact of the insurance premiums this year, okay, with a 29% increase. And the word that we're getting is that it's not going to end there. There are a couple, for example, the existing 10-day rule, that's a section of the Municipal Act, 4410, I believe, and it basically protects municipalities. So it says that within 10 days of a slip and fall on a municipal roadway or sidewalk or whatever, the injured party has within 10 days to file a claim. And the reason for that is that it gives municipalities the opportunity to secure evidence, go to the site, and protect their best interests, I guess. If any longer not, and and then obviously, especially in winter, conditions could be significantly different. There's a couple other clauses in here too that, for example, 3 and 4, which cap the economic loss awards. It's going to be pretty tough for any judge in a trial, for somebody that's been significantly injured, paraplegic, quadriplegic, whatever, to say that, we got to limit your losses to $2 million. When you look at the cost of healthcare for that individual for the rest of their life, $2 million is not going to go very far. So some of these clauses, I get that they think this municipality thinks that it's going to protect them and all municipalities, but in reality, they're probably not going to go too far. But I think the general point is that, insurance is getting out of hand for municipalities. And there has to be, the government has to make some fundamental changes, particularly with respect to full and several liability. I mean, basically the 1% law that says that if municipalities are even 1% liable, they pay the bulk of the claim because they have the insurance. Those kinds of things need to be challenged and they need to change. But like I said, overall, I think it's a motion that has some a lot of merits, and again, it's up to council if they want to support it or not.
Okay, thank you for that, Brian. So we do have a mover and seconder to support this. I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. So moving on, item 7.6, this is a letter from Alex Ruff, our MP, just advising that federal pandemic aid has gone out to the Legions, and our Legion here in Hanover, branch 130, received $10,845, and I know it will be put to good use. So since their doors have been closed also. Okay, so that's was for information. So item 8, planning and zoning matters. The next planning advisory committee meeting is Tuesday, February 9th at 5 p.m. Dates to remember and announcement. Family Day, the offices are closed. They're closed now, but the phones will not be answered on Family Day. That's Monday the 15th. Everybody will be out making snow sculptures and stuff. The next regular council meeting is Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m. The next regular committee of the whole meeting is Monday, March 1st at 7 p.m. Time is moving on. I'll ask at this time, are there any notices of motion? Seeing none, we do not have a closed meeting. So we have one motion left, and that is adjournment. I need a mover and seconder to adjourn at 7:53. I have Deputy Mayor Hicks and Councillor Hawking. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, Council. Good meeting. Seems short.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night, everybody.